Hi everybody. Hi everybody, I'm your host Suzette. Welcome to Clay Talk. Today we're going to be discussing how you can store your creative paper clay. I'm going to wait for a few more people and then we'll get started. If you have any questions throughout the talk, please just ask. I'll be happy to answer them. And we'll be having a giveaway during the show. You just have to say, I want to win. You have to be live and watching. So there are many different ways of storing paper clay. The first one I'm going to discuss is using a Ziplock bag with damp paper towel in it and squeeze out, what you'll do is squeeze out as much air as possible. So we have the Ziplock bags here and we also have the bigger ones. I'm just going to turn down my camera so you can see my desk. Just waiting on a few more people and then I will go through all of them. But basically what we're going to be discussing is how to store your paper clay in Ziplock bags and also in a plastic container and with a press and seal. I've been using paper clay for many years and I've never had a problem with it drying up. It's always stored nicely. Hi Glorianne, how are you? Hi Terry. I'm just waiting on a few more people to join. And then we'll get into it. Share it with your friends so we can have more people. The more the merrier. I'm here to answer any of your questions that you might have. Okay, let's get started. The first method was using Ziplock bags or any plastic bag, that has a seal at the top. I know you have different brands in different countries, so just make sure that the size of the Ziplock bag is the closest to your clay. I have two different sizes here. This is the freezer gallon size and then this is a quart size. The freezer size is thicker, so it should be a little better at storing the clay long term than the regular one. Now try to stick the size closest to your clay. For the biggest ones, we have 16 ounce. The 16 ounce pack, the 1 pound pack. I would suggest using this size. And what you do once it's open is you wrap it up tight and you would put it in here. It's a good idea to use a damp paper towel, so just spritz your paper towel with some water and place it in your bag, and then we're just gonna fold it to try get out as much air as possible, and then we'll just zip the bag closed. This zipper isn't working too good, but you just zip the bag closed and you put that aside. That should keep your clay nice and moist. That's probably the most common way. Another common way would be to use a plastic container that has a seal. So like an airtight container that has a seal around it here. This is great for keeping your clay nice and moist. I use this. This is my preferred method because even when I'm working, I just pop it back in and put the lid back on, you know, so I don't have to keep going in my bag. I find this a lot easier. So what I do is when I'm finished, I wrap my clay like this. Put a rubber band over it just to keep it sealed. The key is to try to get out as much air as possible. And then I put it in my container and pop on the lid. So that's my second choice for storing your air dry clay. Another choice, I don't know if it's available elsewhere, but this one is fantastic. This is Press and Seal. It's by Glad. It's like a second skin. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. Let me just open this clay and take out a piece and show you. So to use the Glad Press and Seal, you'd remove the clay from its original packaging. So there we go. And you just grab the Press and Seal, big enough to go around the clay, and tear it off. And then we're just going to wrap it up tightly. Once again, the trick is to make sure that you have no air left when you're wrapping it up. So you just keep doing that. And there you go. That should store your clay tightly. It's airtight. It's like it's for vegetables really. It's great for like onions and stuff. They'll last forever when you have that in there. And then we can move on now to other methods. Lots of people talk about sealers to store their clay. I have this little one that I had bought from Amazon some time ago. I find that I don't really use it because I can't be bothered. But essentially what you do, they have cheap ones. Let me start by saying that. They have cheap ones ranging from like $6 on Amazon all the way to, you know, up to larger ones that are like $20-something and up to professional ones. It's to seal a bag, like once you open say a bag of spinach, you can seal it back. And we just, this particular one, when you squeeze it down like this little part here heats up, and that in turn melts the packaging. So you have to draw it across here, and it will seal the clay right in there. So I find that it does work, but you have to go over it several times with this particular one. Like I said, they're good ones, they're cheaper ones, they're more expensive ones. If this is what you're gonna do, I'd recommend you invest in a more expensive one. So you just pull it across. So as you can see, I've done right here, and it's sealed like it's, and you know, it's an original packaging as you got it, I mean. So it's pretty good. So that's one method, but once again, make sure you squeeze it out like that. And you can take this one step further if you have one of those vacuum sealers for food. That's also great. When it sucks the air out first and then it seals the bag. It's fantastic for that as well, if you have one of those. But if you find that, you know, you want to use one, I'd recommend buying something a little better than this because it's just easier. This was $6, like I said. But read the reviews and buy one that, you know, one that maybe just goes all along at the same time and melts the package closed like that. So that's another great way of storing your paper clay. The main thing really in all of this is to make sure that there's no air in your packaging once you've stored it. That's why the press and seal is probably one of the best methods for long-term storage because it forms a second skin. And when you're storing in your Ziploc bags, it's important to get all the air out. It's the same for our clay that we sell, our Delight clay. I keep my Delight clay in a plastic bag also. And the quart size is best for this size clay. It fits in there quite nicely. And it stores quite a while in there. I don't have a problem with it. If I'm gonna store it for a longer term, maybe I would put it in the bag and then maybe put it in a box if I know I'm not going to use it for a very, very long time. We are giving away a prize, so you have to say I want to win for a chance to win our prize today. So that's basically the best methods of storing clay that I've come across. There might be a few more out there that I'm not familiar with. But like I said, this one is easy because you know, it's very accessible when you're working. You can open it, you can take some out, and, you know, take off a piece and then pop it back in, and it's quite easy when you're actually working. Because remember, once you open your clay, you have to put it away. You can't just leave it out. A plastic bag is also great for that when you're working. You don't leave it out in the air because it's an air dry clay. So essentially, once it hits the air, it's gonna start drying. And especially depending on your weather. Humid, when it's humid, it might not dry as fast, but in dry conditions, it will definitely dry fast. So like with air conditioning, for instance, I find that the clay dries so fast when I have on my air conditioning versus when I don't. So once you have it out, you know, you need to just break off what you're using, immediately put it away in your box or in your bag, and continue working. And then maybe when you're finished, a great way is to seal it up with your press and seal, wrap everything up tightly, get all the air out, and put it away till you're ready to use it next time. The same goes for our Delight clay that we have. Exact same rules. Once you're taking off a piece, put it away immediately into your Ziploc bag, and keep it there while you're working, and only take out what you need a bit at a time. So that is basically what I have for you on storing. I'll wait and see if there are any questions on storing our paper clay. Ah, we have a winner for the prize, Pamela Stansbury. Congratulations. You have won the prize. So do we have any questions? Anybody want to know about storing our clay? Okay, someone says, Glorian says, while sculpting, I use a wet washcloth to cover my clay to keep the clay moist. It helps to smooth the clay. That's a fantastic idea. because once the moisture is in the clay, it will definitely come out very smooth. I am on next month, again, the first Thursday in the month at the same time. I will be discussing armatures that we can use for Creative Paperclay. The armature basically is a skeleton of the sculpture, and we're going to be discussing what items, not necessarily store-bought, but other stuff that you might discard, that you can use to build that armature and make your fantastic sculptures. We'll definitely have a prize again next time, so you have to be live, watching us while we're live for a chance to win. It should definitely be great. And if you have any other questions that you would like me to answer, just leave a message here. We'll make note of it, and we'll definitely include your answers in Clay Talk in a future show. I've been working with paperclay for quite a while now, actually. I sculpt anything from little whimsical animals to bigger sculptures and art dolls. I use it for details even if I work with paper mache. And I've been working with it probably for over 10 years. It's a fantastic product, and it's just great to work with. It's easy to work with. Polymer clay tends to be hard on the hands if you have like arthritic hands. As you can see, paper clay is just really soft and easy to work with. It's very easy on the hands, and you can make so many things with it. You know, anything you can imagine, really, from jewelry to decorating picture frames. And yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been like I said, been working with it for years, and I'm on the design team of Creative Paperclay. You can also check out our blog, creativepaperclay.blogspot.com. They have lots of tutorials there, and we have a Facebook group, Paperclay Questions and Answers, where everybody helps everybody with all their questions. Pamela wants to know if we can wire wrap paperclay for pendants. Sure you can. I've made pendants with it before. It's lightweight, and you can finish it many different ways, and just as you would the polymer clay, the difference of course is that it's softer. So definitely you can use it to wire wrap paperclay. You can definitely wire wrap paperclay for pendants. I've used it to make pendants as well with like rubber stamps. You can easily put the impression in it. It takes the impression for anything, really. Yeah, we are also on Instagram at Creative Paperclay. We have lots of great posts there promoting not only our work at Creative Paperclay with our design team, but other people's work that we find on the internet. We also promote on Instagram and our Facebook page and on our blog. If you use the hashtag Creative Paperclay, it'll be easy for us to find you, and we definitely will share your post. Yes, thank you, Gloria. And we definitely can make pieces stronger by using resin to paint over the final pieces. That will, help them like not to chip, or just make them stronger, because as you know, resin is a very hard finish. Once again, don't forget, we'll be giving away a prize next week. Next month, sorry. Pamela won our prize this month. You have to be live watching us on Creative Paperclay and Clay Talk, and you have to say, "I want to win." So that will definitely be fun for us next month. And you need to share with your friends so more and more people know that we have this show going. This is our first one, it's new. and it would be great to see more and more people join and learn about Creative Paperclay. There's so many resources out there for polymer clay, and I find that you know, you really have to look for air dry clays. So this is definitely a very good idea to get, you know, our name out there for Creative Paperclay and share with everybody how wonderful this product is and what you can actually do with it. Any more questions from anyone about storing clay? As I said before, I can show you a sculpture just to show you how versatile it is. This is a sculpture I'm working on now. It's a cat. It's quite big, as you can see. And this is made with Creative Paperclay. So, and the armature is a bottle. So as you can see, we can use anything to work with Creative Paperclay, and we'll discuss all of those armatures next week when we are, next month, sorry, on Clay Talk. This is an art doll I'm working on now. I haven't quite finished, I just have the details. This is made fully with Creative Paperclay, and it's almost done now, just little shadows and stuff, but you can see the details that you can do with clay. I mean, the face is all done with Creative Paperclay. There's nothing else on here apart from acrylic paints and the hair, which I added. So Creative Paperclay is really fantastic for many applications. Whether you're doing art dolls or even working with the kids, it's easy. We also have Delight Clay, which is fantastic to work with kids. It's a nice soft clay. It has like a very marshmallow feel. It dries light and puffy. So the kids will love that one. Yes, as Glorianne says, it's easy to sculpt. It can be carved when it's dry, which is great. So you can like shave off areas, or if you want to make a block of it and then carve like you would in wood, it's also very easy for that. And you can add to it when it's dry. So like when I'm making this doll, rather than keep messing up an area, like you'd say the face, what I do is I cover the armature fully with the Creative Paperclay, and then I let it dry, and then I add more clay. You just have to wet the area first, so you can add more clay, and then I put the details like the nose and mouth and stuff like that, because you find that it's just easier when you have a harder surface to work on rather than everything moving around. Same with the hands. Any smaller details like that, I do the bigger part first, go through, and then do the intricate parts. Anybody else has any questions before we wrap up for the evening? Yes, definitely you can roll it out. I love to roll up my thin, and mine thin and rubber stamp. Cheryl says, yeah, that's definitely true. Like I said, it takes texture very, very well once you roll it thin. I don't know if I have a rubber stamp here. Let me just check. I might be able to show you just briefly. This rubber stamp is dirty, but that's okay. I just want to give you an idea. Let me put it here where you can see it. And you just press it in just to show the detail. And look at all of that detail that you get in the clay. So this is great where it works with jewelry and stuff, because you can literally just use a rubber stamp. You get a fantastic design, and then you can use a cookie cutter or one of those smaller jewelry cutters or polymer clay cutters and cut out a pendant shape, and it's just fantastic. And when you finish it, because it takes so many different types of paints and stains and everything, it really is fantastic, the texture. Hello, Cindy from Georgia. Yes, I agree, Pamela. That definitely needs to we need to get rid of that myth that it's not strong enough. It's paper clay and it's light. However, it's very strong. I mean, I've dropped my sculptures all the time. My cat knocks them off, and they don't chip, they don't break. As a matter of fact, I prefer having those types of sculptures now because the cats wreak havoc with my sculptures, and you know, they just like to knock them everywhere if they're chasing a lizard or something. So it actually is comforting knowing that my sculptures will not actually break. Yes, Lorianne says yes, watercolors do look amazing with it. Because it's a paper clay, it's going to absorb the watercolor as watercolor paper would. And you get very nice, soft, muted colors when you use watercolor on paper clay. So it can be used for many things. I've made a paper clay bowl. Of course, it's, you know, decorations. I've made Christmas ornaments with cookie cutters. All of those are on our blog. There's so many tutorials on our blog that our design team has done over the years. You should check it out. So, and you know, there are videos on YouTube. They just Google Creative Paperclay. Many people over the years, both on and off the design team, have done many videos with Creative Paperclay. And not all of them are art dolls. Some people see art dolls and they think, oh my god, I can't make an art doll. But not all of them are art dolls. There are many other tutorials with cute little embellishments even for, you know, a art project. They work great in molds for, you know, if you're decorating a box and you want some flowers. It's great for all sorts of stuff. What's in the blue package? This is Delight modeling clay. It's very similar. It's a very spongy type of clay. The only thing I could probably think is maybe Crayola Magic might be the same texture. So as you can see, it's lightweight. It's very soft, very easy to work with. I find that it works really, really well in molds. As a matter of fact, I think we should do a whole show one day on using molds. And it picks up texture fantastic. I've made jewelry pendants with this also, because it takes the impression of anything you put in it. So this is Delight clay. It's also great for kids because it's just so easy and so light and so spongy. And the good thing about this as well, it's very light, as you can see, and when it dries, it's super light, and it's slightly flexible when it dries. So I have made, use molds to make things that I like when I decorate a glass bottle, for instance. There's a tutorial on the blog where I used it to decorate a glass bottle. I made some medallions with a mold, and I stuck them on the bottle, and I think I used either bronze or copper paint to paint my medallions and incorporated everything on the bottle. So the blog is creativepaperclay.blogspot.com. It has links there. We have tutorials going constantly with our design team. Our fabulous design team does lots of tutorials, and it's just great. I mean, there's some categories that you can select for like Christmas crafts or Easter crafts or Halloween, that kind of stuff. But if you scroll through the blogs, you will definitely see lots of tutorials for both Delight clay and Creative Paperclay. So I'll definitely make a note to do one with molds once, because I think that one is great, because when you craft a lot, you definitely use a lot of pieces, and you don't want to, you know, be constantly buying stuff. It's just so much cheaper to make your own. And if you're anything like me, you can never find the perfect one anyway, so I prefer to make them. That way I can paint it how I want it, and I just rather invest in a bunch of molds and do it that way instead. That way, if I know I need medallions, I'll do medallions. I used molds the other day to do some under the sea things. That's also on the blog. I'm gonna use those next month to put together a nice 3D like board, mixed media board. That will definitely be on the blog next month as well. And you know, it's just fantastic what you can do with the clay. You can do, you know, bas relief as well, where you draw your picture on your board and then you add your clay and it gives it like a nice 3D effect. That's great. And there's just so many uses. There we go. They've shared our project gallery. Just look in the comments and you will see the projects there. As I said, so many tutorials, definitely loads and loads of Christmas ones in particular, and you know, everybody likes to make Christmas ornaments. There are a lot of them simple enough that you can do it as a project with the kids. Like I said, cookie cutter ornaments, all sorts of ornaments that are just easy enough for everybody. Do we have any more questions? Oh, definitely, Pamela. I am looking forward to doing this show every month also. Like I said, I find that there's so much information out there on polymer clay, and definitely not enough on Creative Paperclay or just air dry clays in general. So it's definitely going to be the first Thursday of every month at this time. We're keeping the same time. And as I said, just leave a comment. Any ideas you have, you can leave a comment on this Facebook page or on our group, Creative Paperclay Question and Answer group. And I'll be happy to put together a show and discuss any questions you might have, any concerns you might have, and maybe even, you know, do a live sculpture one day with you. Just like I said, go on the group is probably the best place, or on here, and leave a comment, anything you think of, and I'll definitely make a note of it. And we'll definitely have it on our live show. I definitely cannot wait to do more shows with you. So, and what I'll do is I'll also bring more sculptures next time, so I can share with you other stuff that you can do with Creative Paperclay. Because I think people just think, oh, air dry clay, they think kids craft, and you know, they really don't know what we can do. Thank you for coming, Cindy. And everybody, it was great. And I look forward to definitely doing it again. Definitely, Betty, looking forward to sharing more with you as well. And thank you, Glorianne and Pamela. And if you missed out on anything, the video will be available on the Creative Paperclay modeling material page. It will be there pretty much forever, as long as the page is up and running. So if you ever want to look back at one of the shows, you can definitely look back. Please remember to share it with your friends so we can get more and more people on. And be sure to tell them that they have a chance of winning a prize, but they have to be watching the live show to be able to win that prize. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Cindy, and everybody. And I think that's it. I think we can wrap it up if there are no more questions. We'll be live again next week, next month. I keep saying next week for some reason. We'll be live again next month, the first Thursday in the month. It will be 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Central, and I think we will still be 5 p.m. for you Pacific folks. So thank you again for stopping by, and I look forward to sharing with you again next month. And like I said, just leave a message, leave a comment for me, and I'll be glad to do a show on whatever you like. Great, thank you all.